My people were biologically determined for one purpose alone: blowing shit up. Woo-hoo-hoo.
All right. Hello, and welcome to a Discovery Home Companion. Your home for Star Trek Discovery for a short little while more, but your companionship may not last. Or not. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying anymore. My name is Wade Bowen, and with me, as has been normal this season 2 of Star Trek Discovery Disco Home Companion, we have Glenn Hall.
Hello.
And also Sean Parada.
Hi.
And yes, this is the final ep. This is a part 2 of such sweet sorrow. The end of Star Trek Discovery Season 2. Yeah, it's over.
Yep. Yeah. 4 months of paying for CBS All Access, and it's come to this.
Yeah, so I am not going to spoil my thoughts on it.
No, Wade liked it.
No, I mean,
That would be amazing if that is how we ended this season.
I know that we've had a lot of different companion guests over this.
Different companion.
Yeah, and actually, when I'm done talking with y'all, I might release a few extra pods where I get opinions of other guests that we've had, just because I don't, I want to get a myriad of variety of takes. Some people,
Absolutely.
So, you know what? I found I will say what I thought about this episode to an extent. There was a lot of whiz-bang pow action sequences that weren't that bad.
No. On the contrary, like I said this, I think with the season premiere, like I will never criticize the production value of the show, because that, especially when it comes to the action sequences, is genuinely movie quality, and that's clearly why they are spending $1 billion on this.
It's insane how expensive this show is, but it's on the screen.
Yeah,
that was a good-looking action sequence. I
absolutely,
I liked it. I just felt like the details of it took up too much time.
Yep.
Yeah, the action was great. The story my problem is the story of this season is dumb. It's talking about action movies and the J.J. Abrams movies and the Kelvin. It felt like they've been this whole season has been a MacGuffin chase.
Yeah.
So it's very Bad Robot Star Trek version.
Yep.
And because the MacGuffins are dumb, they don't make any sense, but they're there for the MacGuffin chase of that's what you have. And this action, this space battle was actually a pretty great space battle, but it's also like the swarms from Star Trek Beyond, and every action movie in the past 5 to 10 years has had CGI swarms of stuff because it looks cool to have all this stuff swarming around.
Also very Star Wars, just in concept in a lot of ways. Just I don't think of Star Trek as a show where fighter pilots are a thing, really.
Right? Yeah.
I was surprised when all of those little ships came out on both sides. I was like, I thought this was just gonna be like Discovery and Enterprise against three other big ships.
Or 30. Yeah, there's...
was it 30? I'm so sorry.
Yeah. Well, that's...
I knew it wasn't 3, but I think I thought it was 13. But either way.
Yeah.
They muddied the waters about what they defined as a ship, because at one point, I think it's Pike that says, Saru says, you have 30 ships and we have 200, and Control says, count again, and, he releases a bunch of...
drones, very dangerous.
Little tiny drones.
Yeah, I think...
Which that feels generous, defining that as a ship.
Right. Well, I think they say vessels.
Well, I mean, they're fighters.
Vessels.
I think she says over vessels. 200 vessels. So
is it Georgiou who says it?
I think
it is. Yeah.
See, but that's the thing. The fucking details in this episode.
Right.
Well, because then even and then the Queen lady, she goes, I know how to destroy them. You have to destroy them this way. 2 ships and coordinated assault on both sides. Blah blah blah. And then they never show that happening.
No, they don't. That doesn't pay off at all.
What a weird, that's the point where you show them, sort of winning. She says that.
Right.
And then they go, oh, great, we know that. And then they win for a little bit.
She's totally, they have a refracted lattice shield design, so you have to shoot the fore and aft and like get them from both sides.
Basically, you have to engage the shield on one side so that it can't defend on the other.
Right.
And I was like, what do we care about their salad, huh?
What's that?
Lattice shield. Why do we care about their salads?
But
damn it,
hey,
Sean. Womp womp.
You're all weak.
Part of me was like, oh, nerds on the internet. Is that going to be something that they say about Borg shields? I don't know. They didn't.
Right.
I didn't catch that anywhere.
To their credit, unless I missed something, I don't think they set up the Borg.
They left it open to do that if they want to next season.
Yeah.
But they did not. Yeah.
I guess we should quickly, and I know I'm the last person to be making this call, but like quickly summarize the episode.
I mean, okay. Space fight. She goes to open the hole. She can't open the hole. She realizes that she's the one who put the signals there. She goes and puts the signals there. They open the hole. Admiral Cornball dies.
And
in a very dumb way, I will add. I have
right.
Yeah. I didn't love that.
There's an undetonated torpedo that gets stuck in the... Also, before that, they're down to 11% shields, and Clem Fandango arrives with reinforcements from the Klingons.
Right.
And also the Baul fighters, which is...
That was so stupid.
So, it was predictable... But you know what? I got a little bit emotional.
I cried. I fucking cried.
Yeah, like it was.
I hate that I cried. That moment made me cry.
It was
you cried when the Baul ships came in?
Both.
Honestly, I'm old, and I got a little bit like, this is predictable and easy. But you know what? Like they were selling their action scenes well, and it worked on me.
All it takes to make me cry is teamwork. That's like
right. They showed up like the Klingons showing up in the last minute to save the Federation. That's like a trope.
Yeah,
but it worked.
Yeah,
and because the Klingons were like cool, like they were the best like they were all like they're the Klingons that I like,
right?
That people wanted from Star Trek because they had one especially.
I saw that too. Yeah, one that looked more like Worf.
Yeah, we had like an old school design Klingon in there, and even what's her name? The Chancellor looked pretty. She looked all right, like her design in with her hair, and when she, she gets blooded, and she's like, "Oh, this is great." The Klingon lust for battle and everything. That was a fun time.
Well, it made sense, and when they go like blah blah blah, we have our differences, but like the Klingons will always fight for their future, and I'm like, right, yeah, like this makes perfect sense. It's not like some contrived reason that they're there. They didn't have to like do anything stupid. Ash just left to convince them that, like, we're all going to die if you don't do this. And it's like, great, done, sold.
Okay, that I get. I accept the Klingon part, because you're absolutely right that, like, easy, simple, no contrivances needed. And then part two, good God, I cannot believe that the Baul shit worked on you guys. Or, I'm sorry, the Saruan and his sister shit worked on y'all.
Well,
but I think that's a payoff, too. Like, I'm stretching. I'm doing the work for the show, certainly.
Yeah,
but he turned them into, like, the badasses that he is. Like, they did that. They made that. We've watched Saru, like, be more badass. And Saru fucking ruled in this episode. I will not
he was
hear
great.
otherwise. Good. Like,
right.
He was fucking great. And it makes sense that his people would, like, hear that and be like, oh, shit, like, we're badass, too, now. Like, yeah.
Right. I did want to see a Baul pilot. Like,
yeah, that's what I wanted to see, and that's why
they're like, they're in Baul ships, so clearly they're teamed up. The Kelpians and the Baul, I guess, are friends now,
and that would have worked better. I think that would have worked better if we did see Baul fighting. Because like my question was immediately like, how the fuck are they piloting the Baul ships? Like you're telling me they resolved like millennia of cultural war.
If they had like a wedge to her Skywalker or whatever in their little fighter ships, that would have been like, oh, that would have been awesome. And she gets to make a wisecrack or something.
And it would have taken a second in an already long episode. So like you could do that.
But it would have been fucking awesome if like.
Oh yeah, and honestly, and maybe this is petty of me, but like something like that would have completely changed my outlook. As it stands now, I'm just like, all right, fine. I guess we have more space friends, and like it's just all these unearned beats.
I think it is a little petty of you, and I do think it was earned. I disagree with you. Listen. I'm so willing to call it this show on what it did not earn, but I think it earned that.
It worked on me is the best I can say. Whether it was earned or not, I don't know.
Yeah, no fair.
In our sample audience, 66% of the time it worked. So I'm clearly wrong, but
no, I'm sure that I'll talk to some other people that are like on your side.
I'm sure I'm more positive about it than most people, but I do I don't know, man. It was a nice reminder of an episode that was good.
That is fair.
A time when I liked Star Trek, so that was nice.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just being too harsh on the episode because I hated this episode as a whole.
Oh, well, see, and then, they come save the day. Michael does a recap of every signal. They go to the future. They kill Control on their way and take him to the future.
Show. All right.
And then they're like, okay, well, they're gone. We don't know what the fuck we're doing with season 3, so let's not end with that. But let's just wrap it up and have Spock and the Enterprise at the ending to tell us why nobody ever talks about why they don't talk about the Discovery and why no one ever mentions Michael Burnham. And
we joked that something would happen where Spock would just basically say, I will never talk about Michael again. And that is literally what they did in this episode.
Yeah.
Spock saying, I will never mention her in anyone else's presence.
Well, because aside from some kind of time shenanigans, there was nothing else they could do,
Right.
Michael, Spock goes on to exist, and Michael doesn't,
Right.
So, what, beyond, erasing her from the,
Joni pointed it as, oh, yeah, we will never speak of Michael again, and where anybody can hear us. Writing a journal entry, though, that's fine.
Right.
Sure. Yeah. Getting that paper trail.
Yeah.
But honestly, it kind of smacks tones of Poochie died on the way back to his home planet.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you write yourself into a corner for a whole season of television.
Right. And ends with Spock quoting Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Yo, fuck.
Wait, did he really?
Yes. The universe isn't beholden to whatever science.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in their defense, that probably was written before.
No, it's straight from Neil deGrasse Tyson. A famous scientist.
Before the allegations came up, but now...
Oh, yeah.
But Neil, he's been, quote-unquote, exonerated now. I don't know. I think he's probably a scumbag, but, whatever.
Yeah, everybody's problematic now. I don't know. I don't even have an opinion, other than,
yeah, no.
We're really closing with it. Yeah, the universe isn't beholden to you understand.
So anyway,
a pop scientist, we gotta look how hip and cool we are.
Yeah.
Well, anyway,
at least it wasn't Elon Musk.
No, it's true. Jesus.
Season 1 did talk about Elon Musk as a historical figure.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah.
No.
And it was they mentioned him in the same breath as people that legitimately did shit. Yeah,
Einstein or something.
It's God.
But that was season 1. Season 2 is Neil deGrasse Tyson, and you know what? This is a good. It's a little bit annoying that we don't know what we're doing with season 3, so we're just not going to address it at all. But also, fine. That gives them a clean blank slate to start from scratch. The soft reboot for season 3
I agree.
Is a good idea.
Yeah. I'm glad they didn't paint themselves into a corner with an ending. But I think there's something you could do that isn't ending with the Enterprise, it's a season of the Enterprise,
Right. And the shot where the closing shot where it starts from the bridge and then and zooms out, that is actually a pretty much straight reverse shot of the opening of the cage, I believe, where it starts from outside and goes in.
Oh.
So it's
all right. Look, that's interesting and cool in a vacuum, but I know that ending is just because they didn't want to do anything concrete with the Discovery and its crew. I get it, but it feels like it made thank you for enjoying a season of Star Trek Discovery starring the Enterprise.
Right.
I'm no, man, yeah, I don't know.
All right. Do you want to? Okay, yeah, I got more to say about the ending.
Go ahead.
Yes, but I guess we can start at the beginning too.
We can start at the beginning. I don't know. We can just leap around and
space fight starts.
Well,
you know what? I have an idea, and you guys can shoot it down if you want. But like, let's temper this a little bit. Let's talk about what we liked.
Oh, I thought we just did that.
Yeah, I'm done. I did it.
I mean, there's some scenes in here if we just go through it that I actually liked a lot. Like,
we can go through.
All right, let's go. Let's just go through it.
Like, it starts off like we gave them shit last episode about like how they took their sweet ass time, like an hour stretched out to 15 hours, and they could do everything they wanted at a leisurely pace and still get it done within 57 minutes or whatever the countdown was.
Yeah.
At least at the beginning of this one, they're like, oh shit, we still have to build this fucking suit because like,
yes, I liked that.
Yeah. Oh, now you're in a rush to build it, but you know they're doing that,
right?
And then, the 200 vessels, and there's like a person in each one of those pods.
That's insane to me.
And like I don't have the patience to do the math, but we've gotten the math of what the crew complement is, how much they sent to the Enterprise, and how much like it feels like the photon torpedoes on Star Trek Voyager. Like the math does not add up for people versus but whatever. But there's people in the pods, and I guess they're dying. There's people in there, and
because looked like it.
Pike does say the longer we take to get Michael out there to open the wormhall,
right?
The fewer people make it home. So I was like, okay.
Yeah. All right.
We get a nice, they're like yelling Jet Reno with Janet Reno.
I know. Good Jet Reno episode.
Yeah, she's great. Yeah. Like her whole like, look, you want me to violate the laws of physics? I can't do that. That's a Scotty throwback.
Yeah.
And and her like, get off my ass, sir. Tig's great. Tig's the highlight, my favorite thing of the season.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they should absolutely make her a regular.
Oh, I think
she's one of the 8 people on the Discovery in the future, so I think she will be.
Right. Well, it's 8, but then also now we learn that the medical bay,
the whole med crew, it seems.
Yeah,
they all sign up for
this shit.
Right. I like how they made it seem like only a skeleton crew is remaining on the ship. There were a lot of just like random bodies on that ship. Right. And I was like, all right, fine. I mean, they agreed to stay, sure. I'm not gonna
sure
like bitch and moan about that. That's
right.
Fine.
I think I called that Hugh Culber was gonna come back to the ship, which is true.
Yeah.
I also called that he was gonna end up being the chief medical officer, but that's not true because Dr. Pollard's still there. So
shocking.
That's good. I would love to see more of Dr. Pollard. She seemed
I know
a good character that actor could make a lot
Give
of
her more
work, do a lot with.
Yeah.
But then when they are taking a beating and there's just like so much shit going on, lasers coming from everywhere, and Leland beams aboard. And then we get like some fight stuff with some Star Wars from Michelle Yeoh to get through unlock a door to get through to the other side. And then Non seemed fine, but like her like lust for fighting, which was
that was weird.
She's a security officer. Like I get it, but
are her and Giorgio gonna fuck?
Oh, I hope so. That would be
yeah, man. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, right. But the like you wanna. Okay, the line that made me cringe the most probably in this whole episode. Can you guess what it was? From Non?
Oh God, she did say something. I have a vague memory of it, but go ahead and tell me.
Yum? Like, yum.
Yes!
Like barf.
That
like,
sucked. I hated it.
Oh, that
felt so out of character from what we had seen of her.
Right. We didn't get enough out of her to character-wise, and they decided she loves fighting. Fine, she's a security officer, but then she's
I'm cool with that.
She's horny for fighting a little bit.
Right, they made a big
weird
choice there that I don't know that I'm super on board with.
Right.
And also just like, now's not the time. You know, like, I get why Giorgio is like this. I don't know that I get why you're like this.
Yeah. But I will say... there was a weird cut to where like Leland's chasing them through the ship to get to control.
Yeah.
Then there's a cut to like Michael doing Space Angel stuff. And then it cuts back and then they just get blown through a door. There's 2 strange people that you never see their face of. And then like 2 seconds later they get sucked out into space.
Yeah, that was weird.
And I had to go back and like, whoa. Fucking Giorgio and Non got sucked out into space, but now they're back. It's like, who are those people? No, they were just 2 random scrubs that just showed up for 2 seconds and died.
They wanted someone to get sucked into space.
Right, but the cut was just so weird because they just run away, and then there's an explosion from nowhere, and they explode through the doors, and then they get sucked out.
Yeah, I mean, they had that idea, but didn't have the footage they needed to do that idea.
Right.
So they did some bad editing.
Right, but then immediately after that was like one of my favorite. That was one of the space fight where they're in the corridor and it's just rotating and the gravity's changing.
Fucking cool.
That was like one of the coolest fights I've seen in a long time, and I was like, all right.
I agree. Yeah.
Just because they had a stationary camera there and then just kind of rotated the whole set.
Yeah, that's fucking dope.
And I was, like I could see the trick, and it was like, look at this cool camera work we're doing, but at the same time, it was like, I was like, all right, I'm there for that.
Oh yeah, I did not mind seeing the seams on that one. I thought it was just fucking cool.
Yeah.
That was what was well executed in the episode.
Yep, exactly,
The action was great.
Oh, totally.
The character beats, there weren't really any.
No, Tilly, well, they've got the suit built and they're running to the loading the cargo bay to send her off, and then Paul gets like fucked up before putting the crystal in, and they have to rush into sick bay and everything. The acting beats were good. They're like when Tilly has to leave him in the and Nielsen is like, no, go back to the bridge. You have to go.
Yeah.
And Tilly doesn't, and she gets torn away. Like for Mary Wiseman, like that was like a pretty like wrenching emotional scene where she's like having to walk away.
Oh, she did a great job with it.
Yeah.
When she's not being forced to overact, she's very good.
Yeah.
I like Tilly, I do, but it is a lot of overacting.
Like she's great, but she did all, you have to like watch out or she's gonna urkel the show.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I mean, the problem is never that they have bad actors. They have good actors. It's just they don't give them adequate material a lot of the time.
Right. And then Hugh comes back because we knew he was in You're My Home.
Yes.
I thought for a second it was going to be like a hallucination, the way that it was all fuzzy. And
it could have been,
maybe a Jacob's ladder.
Yeah, but then by the end of it, you're like, okay, he's really there. Okay, fine.
Well, I think the directive that the writers had for this episode was no subtext.
Right,
yeah.
He can't talk, and he makes a quick Wookiee noise at one point. He's like, oh, but
I get, they weren't certain they were getting another season when they filmed this, right? So I think
probably not.
Yeah, there's no room for subtext. Like let's really solidify some stuff, and let's just show what happens to Discovery and that it leaves, and let's show the aftermath. And then I don't know, if we don't get another season, this was an ending,
right? Yeah. And then, it ended. And the Spock stuff at the end, like Michael's, I can't go, Spock, and their emotional goodbye scene. And she's like, it was a little much for me. It's like, all right.
It was. I didn't, I lost. I'm not going to lose you again. Well, you are.
Yeah, right. You're my balance.
Right.
I don't think I can be like, that's why he's all logical going forward after this, because his balance is gone. And it's his sister.
Stupid.
And her whole, like, you got to find somebody that reaches out for you, like one day a person that might reach out for you when you're dying of radiation burns and that could put their hand on a door, it's like, okay, all right, I get it.
Fine, we understand.
I get that you're saying be ready for love when you meet Jim Kirk or whatever.
Right.
All right. It was a little much for me.
He looked stupid without his beard.
Yeah.
Honestly, when they showed him without the beard on deck, he looked like an actor who went to Comic-Con and wanted to communicate that he watched it. Like he was an actor dressed up as Spock.
Right.
He wasn't like Zachary Quinto in the Abrams movies. Whatever people think of those, I think, I believe that like generally his like performance was well received, and I think a large part of that is that, I don't think they tried too hard to, kind of copy paste all of Leonard Nimoy,
right?
Like his wardrobe and hairstyle on him. They tweaked it to fit Zachary Quinto, the actor, and it seems like here what they did is like, okay, just make it look exactly like it does in TOS, and honestly, Ethan Peck doesn't really look like him.
Honestly, I might actually disagree.
Really?
I was actually surprised how much he looked more like Leonard Nimoy than I was expecting him to with the beard.
I didn't see it.
He looked way too young. He still looked like Leonard Nimoy in the cage.
Yeah.
Looks like 15 years old. But we've said like Leonard Nimoy just looked old.
Yeah, exactly. He's He's always been 40.
Right. Except when he got like 90.
Right. He went from 40 to 90.
Yeah. But it's fine. It's like an actor. He's not going to look like another person, I guess.
Right.
But he did look more like Spock than I actually was anticipating without the beard. So
I'll just say this. I understand why they made him have the beard.
Sure.
Yeah. I get it. Well, why'd they make him have a shitty beard?
Yeah, right.
Why'd they make him have a beard that like comes to a point and has a 90-degree angle at his cheekbone?
Maybe it was supposed to match because the Starfleet regulation sideburns have points on them. Maybe their beards do too.
Yep. Good. God, that beard sucked.
Yeah, you guys are really angry about that beard.
Glenn, it's the worst fucking beard I've ever seen. Why would I not be angry about it? What beard comes to the intersection of your cheekbone and your nose and dips down in a 90-degree angle?
Yeah, let's
no beard.
Sean's angry at the beard. I'm angry at the Spock in general, and I'm angry at sexy Spock. But
my dog thinks I'm very upset. My dog is licking me and comforting me because I'm shouting so much.
Sean, out of all of us, probably has the most expertise on having a thick, lustrous beard.
That's true.
Yeah, and not a stupid one.
I guess when you say shitty beard, I think of like unkempt, bushy, like Arthur Morgan in Red Dead Redemption, like beard, and not a relatively trimmed beard that just isn't shaped a lot.
No, like a bad shape. That's the thing. It's not unshaped. It's shaped.
It's shaped intentionally.
He chose that. Yeah, Glenn, beards don't do that. Beards don't have like straight angular lines on their own. You do that very intentionally.
And I will admit, this is probably entirely because I cannot grow a full beard. Like, I just get patches on my cheeks. I can only grow like a half beard goatee.
Yeah, I mean, you talking about beards is like me talking about Star Trek. All right, don't come into my lane.
You don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about.
I'm gonna post a really nasty review about how you don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
Don't do that, please. We're trying our best.
It's been done. Do whatever the fuck you want. I don't care.
Listen, you fucking internet jerk offs, come for me about beard shit. Come fucking at me. I don't have Twitter. At Wade, and he'll tell me it happened.
Yeah. I mean, people can do whatever they want. I don't care.
But at him about Spock's fucking beard. Tell me that beard is anything other than fucking hot garbage, and I will come to your house and I will fucking murder you.
Oh, whoa.
That's right. You fucking heard me.
All
Give
right.
me your goddamn address in the same tweet where you defend Spock's beard, and I will come there and you will die.
All right. Well, Sean is not representative of the Kickers or Valves, or
no, this is just me.
Right.
Yeah.
I signed a release.
Jesus.
Yeah. So then they go away. They disappear, and
could Discovery have beamed Spock on?
No, because they would have to have brought their shields down to do that. And they would have gotten exploded.
So Enterprise did bring their shields down to beam, but I guess that was okay.
Right, because they weren't the target. Everybody's going after Discovery.
Okay.
Though I will say that I did notice their aft shields were down because Tilly had to climb into a Jeffries tube and do some technobabble to get their shields back up. So it's possible they could have beamed out their aft shields that were down to get Spock, but they had a lot of on their plate.
That's fine. I'm okay with that.
I'm not gonna So,
that was more asking than complaining. I'm fine with
well,
that.
there was a few things where maybe they could have slipped a little beam out their asses.
Right.
But whatever. Don't worry about that. But also,
Spock could not be on Discovery at the end of the season.
Right.
That's the
right.
plot.
Yeah.
That's what. Yeah. So I'm fine with it.
And then also there's that undetonated plasma torpedo that Admiral Cornball has to take care of.
Yeah.
And number one can't do it. And we learn it, and he says her name is Anna at one point, and then
I missed
he says, "Come back to the bridge, Anna. The bridge is yours." But then later, she's like, "My name is number one. Damn it." And then she's got to pull the manual release to close the blast doors, and I was like, "God damn it!" I mean, fucking Indiana Jones through that door.
That's exactly what I was gonna say. It's like, just roll under the fucking door.
It's like, you can attach a string to that handle and pull it down and just slide through. I mean, fine. It's, that's a little nitpicky. They worked into their plot that she had to sacrifice herself. Fine.
But it's just, don't make her do it in a dumb way. And also the whole shit where she was like, you're not destined to die here. How the fuck does she know that?
Right.
He knows that.
She's an admiral. She's been reading his diary because she has clearance to do that.
Oh, there you go. But like, seriously.
Wouldn't he, like, knowing what his future holds, rather die like that?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Oh, right.
But he made a salient point that, like, if this is my destiny, then this thing cannot possibly go off with me in here. And she said, well, we can't risk that.
She called his bluff. Like, all right, you're going to test. I was like, oh, fuck it. You got me.
Well, but what they should have done is, and he wanted to sacrifice himself. So he should have just said, like, just switch. I'll pull the shaft. Like, worst case scenario, your plan goes off, but it's just me instead of you.
Right.
But also, yeah.
There's a small chance that because I'm in here, timey-wimey horse shit will take effect, and the force will guide me to whatever. And
right,
God,
but that's not the story they wrote, and we know that he's got to die otherwise, and so.
But that could have been an interesting thing where he was.
Yeah,
like,
but they were never.
I thought what they were going to do was.
Come on.
I thought what. But like,
do other Treks address his death or just his becoming handicapped?
They put him in there, and then Spock steals a shuttle to send him back to the brain alien planet.
Oh,
where he can where they can psychically keep him where he can be in love with the other girl who's fucked up and
fun,
and they can live.
Well,
that way.
I will point out that that he does have I wouldn't call it the happiest ending, but he's given a measure of mercy, but he does not know that happens. All he knows is that at some point he sacrifices himself to save a crew member, and he ends up in a I have no mouth but must scream type situation.
Beep boop wheelchair.
Yeah, the beep boop wheelchair.
I mean, it's called sacrifice.
Yeah,
Glenn. It's written the story is more interesting if he actually sacrifices something, right? Right.
Well, it's just
it's like you can always say, why didn't they do that? That's the thing that happened. I do that a lot too. So
well, it's the thing with whatever the fuck Leonardo DiCaprio's character name is in Titanic, where
Jack. I'll never let go, Jack.
Sean, you're.
What are we forgetting? Iconic quotes from the second highest grossing movie of all time now?
Yeah.
Hey Sean, name 3 characters from Avatar.
Jake Sully, the Na'vi, and Unobtainium.
Yep. Paul Reiser, Sigourney
Weaver, yeah. Hey, I got Jake Sully, all right?
Yeah, Zoe Saldana.
Yeah.
And
What was Zoe Saldana's name in the highest grossing movie of all time?
I don't. Jesus Christ, no. I don't know.
Navi. No, that's.
But I can give you an iconic quote. I see you, Jake Sully. Yeah, that's what she says.
Okay.
When he's iconic. All
right.
Yeah, it's a t-shirt everywhere.
Iconic.
I'm cutting off. No more James Cameron movie talk.
Anyway, the point I was making is they did a MythBusters to the whole thing with there wasn't room for him on the chair.
He could have fit on the
door, right? And Jim Cameron said look, the story calls for him to die. He's gonna die.
Yeah,
there's nothing you can say that'll change that. And there is something salient about that in terms of storytellers and stuff.
Right.
But in this particular instance, they are asking us to accept something so dumb. One, that she didn't Indiana Jones it, which seemed I don't think that door was moving too quick.
That wasn't dumb to me either. It was just a hole that you can nitpick, but it's it's obvious. There's shit like that in so many things and I'm totally down for nitpicking. I've got
a podcast devoted to
this whole thing, but I will call shit out and laugh at, but at the same time, I'm not surprised they did that.
No, I don't. Yeah, I have no problem with a noble sacrifice. And we can sit here and complain that it didn't have to happen. But the more egregious example of that, I'm not going to waste my time on that. Why did Discovery go to the future?
Oh wait, no. I have another nitpick for the Admiral Cornwall.
Okay, all right. We'll
because if we're gonna have a nitpick, I was like, okay, one, you can have Indiana Jones through that door, and then to get the most hackneyed joke ever, why didn't they just build the ship out of the blast doors? Because he could stand on the other side of it.
Oh my God! Yes,
right. As it blows up.
That explosion was huge.
yeah.
It was so big, and
How the fuck?
and we're like, nah, everything's fine.
And he can wave from the other side of a glass or transparent
The glass
aluminum
wasn't
door.
even damaged. There wasn't even a crack on that glass.
It's
I know.
glass.
It's
Glass.
probably transparent aluminum is something they have in the future. Star Trek 4
But-
talks about it. But
Just
yeah, I mean, it was
they-
like, but they had to blow up that much of the ship because the ready room looks different in the original series.
oh, of course.
Oh my God. Oh my god.
yeah. And so they refit it, and yeah. But yeah. What was the other thing you were gonna jump forward to rant about there, Sean? Before I cut you off with
Why does
yeah.
the Discovery go to the future?
because they were they had a plan. They had a plan to get away from control because they have to go to the future to escape control.
And then
So it's therefore they take control with it, although they've already defeated control because the secret to because all you really need to destroy an evil genocidal AI
Yep.
are fucking magnets, man. How do they work?
How do they work? What? I do not buy that killing Leland shut down Control.
Because he's a fucking AI. Exactly. Oh my God.
Control was in the ship. So when Control put itself in him, it put all of itself in him. All of his consciousness.
Enough to when they kill Leland, all the other ships go down.
Right.
Yeah.
That's the implication.
Though to try to nitpick,
Please.
later on when Spock is doing his debriefing, he asks the guy, "Are there any other remnants of control?" Or Ash Clem Fandanger does ask him, is any of control left? And the guy says no.
It's insane.
So they don't. I mean, they don't know that they got rid of control. They still have to go to the future just to be safe. Except they took it with them.
Right. So stupid.
So I mean, and we said oh, it's not the Borg. We don't know what happens on the other side.
Maybe it's the Borg.
Because they're gonna do more time travel stuff. Because another question I had that Joni was like, well, no, you can argue it away. Okay, the time crystal's gonna run out. She sends the sixth signal to guide the Discovery through the wormhole.
Stupid.
And then she's like, Spock, brother, you'll know I'm safe because the seventh signal's got to come, and I will send the seventh signal back through the wormhole after I get through. And I was like, well, but the crystals burn out. They can't travel again to send the signal back, right? Except, I guess...
Don't even talk to me how the fucking time crystal works.
She could have sent the signal through the same wormhole that they escaped through, I guess, before it closes.
Took a long time to show up.
I know, but timey-wimey is weird. Spock even calls that out. But then another thing... To metagame it, we know that they've greenlit a Michelle Yeoh Section 31 series.
Yeah. Hey, what the fuck?
But to metagame it more, we also know Heather Caden, or one of the big producers, has said in interviews, we greenlit that series, but that series will not actually come about until after season 3 of Discovery.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Because they've written themselves in a corner, so they realize, they
have to get her back to the present.
Yeah. So somehow we have to figure out how to do that in season 3 of Discovery, which I'm sure they hadn't figured out at that time.
I mean, that's just as a avid consumer of sci-fi, I cannot imagine it's going to take a lot of effort to, she tripped and fell out the airlock on the way through time and somehow ended up back in the present.
Well, they'll keep her on as a guest star through season 3 because Michelle Yeoh is fucking fantastic.
Yeah. Her and
then also in the future in Star Trek, you get a lot more temporal time wars and time travel is more common, so it wouldn't be that hard to get her shunted back to the 22nd or 23rd century. But then also, there's no reason that Section 31 series has to be set in this time either. It could be set whenever. They could do whatever the fuck they want.
Right. Yeah, that's true. They did kind of make a reference to kind of changing the structure of Section 31, which kind of...
They did, which we knew they'd have to.
Well, yeah, they said, we have to make it more transparent, which...
Yeah, that was weird.
Well, right.
They did say manageable.
The whole point of Section 31 is that it's not transparent at all, and it's not even associated with the Federation, that they have plausible deniability that it even exists.
Right.
Oh, that's annoying. Because DS9 sets it up as something totally different. But then also, DS9 gets referenced when Spock even quotes Federation, whatever, 157, Section 3, the temporal Prime Directive thing where we can't have any.
Right.
That is actually a quote from the Trouble with Tribbles episode of DS9. So, yeah. But
the guy who was doing the debriefing,
uh-huh.
I don't know. Maybe I'm thinking too much about it. But like they showed him at weird angle. Like they only showed
back of his head,
his mouth. Like they only showed the back of his head, the bottom. Is that like? Do you think that is that somebody? Is that like a thing?
I don't know who. I don't think so. I mean, maybe there's
but just like showing him like that feels like they're saying he is. You know, like that.
Right. They want him. I guess they wanted him to represent the Federation and us to not like identify him as a person. He's just speaking on behalf of.
Right.
I was a little bit like, okay, they've been trying to get reinforcements from the Federation to help in this big space fight at the end, but then they lie. They all get their story straight to lie to say that the Discovery blew up.
Right.
Because they don't want to get the Federation to know about the time travel thing.
Right.
But then also the Federation knows they have a time suit, so they don't trust the Federation. But I thought we could trust the Federation. I was a little like, why are you doing it like that?
No, I agree. It's not great. I mean, I guess, look, they needed the Federation because they were going to die without the Federation, and then the Klingons and the Bavurbadur showed up.
Right.
They didn't need the Fed, but like, I guess it's like, we'll take our chances telling the Federation what's going on.
Right. So I guess
if not, everybody dies. But then,
right. I guess the story they fed the Federation was that Control was after the Discovery. We know that, presumably for the Spore Drive.
Right.
And then their story is not that they traveled to the future to escape Section Control. Their story is that the Discovery exploded. They are all dead. We can never talk about them again because not just because time travel. We got to keep time travel under wraps. So we're going to do that. DS9 Clause 157. But then also, I guess they can wrap in the Spore Drive. We don't want to talk about that either because Section 31 wanted the Spore Drive. So that's them finally. They did a half-assed way of retconning the Spore Drive at the end of Season 1. They do a better job of saying this is why we don't talk about the Spore Drive at the end of this. But it still amounts to, because we're under, it's a secret that the Federation is keeping.
Right.
That exists, which is fine. Like,
well, now the Spore Drive's way in the future.
Right. And they can do whatever they want. And, that's finally, I'm hopeful for Season 3, like my
soft reboot.
My soft reboot.
I got a soft reboot.
Oh, whatever do you mean? I think okay.
This episode kept my reboot soft.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, and I hope Michelle Paradise can come up with, because this whole season felt like, one, it was a pushed together thing from the original showrunners. Then Alex Kurtzman got on and he just went to his well, JJ taught me how to make movies where you chase a MacGuffin around. It doesn't matter what the MacGuffin is, and nothing. That's what I hate the most about this season. It was the action scenes were great. This story, the plot, meant nothing. There was no reason for it. There was no big. They mentioned at the end, because Burnham, like a bad high school essay, to where our theme this season was faith. Yeah. So we don't know how to do this yet, but I'm gonna get a C on your paper. So say leap of faith, and we've covered it. Come on.
So it's a leap of faith.
The red badge clearly displayed the protagonist's courage.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and okay. So it's just empty, not mystery box, but just chase a MacGuffin, and that'll keep people's interest. What the actual substance of what you're trying to say isn't important.
Right.
But you can keep people on the edge of their seats by enough exciting stuff.
Not if it sucks.
Which is, which it's action movie 101.
Yeah.
Which, Kurtzman is a student of. Yeah. And that's what we got with this. And it did, at points it did that really well, but it was...
Well, this episode was a good action movie,
Right.
But a good that you come out and say well, that was a fun, 80 minutes of popcorn, nothing substantive there,
Right.
That's not what you want in the season finale of a Star Trek show.
That's not the kind of stories I want from a Star Trek show. I want...
There's even something and I don't know, this might... I'm definitely projecting onto this a little bit, because in case it wasn't clear, I hated this.
Yep.
Even like Michael Michael being the one to place the signals, like, was equal parts not surprising and, like, just really, like, cyclical, like,
Right.
like, so she's been chasing them and she put them there. So this is all, like, meaningless to any, like, it's just her, you know, like, it's just this. Star Trek is all about, like, this big world, you know, like, there's all of this
Yeah.
shit out there. We spent so little time with aliens this season.
Right.
There were, like, no aliens. And then, like, I don't know if I would have been happier if the signals were you know, sent by the idolaters or whatever you've said. That wasn't Iconians. That was closer than I thought it was, truly.
Yeah.
But, you know, like, I don't know if that would have been better. Like, it would have been out of left field, but maybe it could, like, that's a season 3 something they could have done if it happened here. I don't know.
Right.
But Michael being the one to do them just felt like a fucking circle jerk.
It did. Like, if it had turned out, like, I mean, they'd come from a super advanced race. Like, this is Star Trek 101 too. Like, oh, we can't understand it.
Right.
It's way beyond our understanding. And you can do, like, you could do your faith and science thing very easily that way.
Yeah.
It would have been simple, you know, like, oh, we can't understand it. It's beyond our comprehension, but we have to accept on faith that these space gods are doing something for us or something.
And we would have rolled our eyes at that, but we'll engage with a story, a Star Trek story,
Right.
that's about, like, yeah, like a more technologically advanced race, assuming that at some point, like, it'll pay off in some way, you know, like, assuming that means something.
Right.
Michael being this, like, this figure who is both her mom and not her mom, who, you know, like, goes back in time, like, it's incoherent, it's indulgent, It's exhausting.
Right. And, like, it goes back, they were riding around the MacGuffin and they got to the end and like, well, shit. And, well,
right.
That's the problem with the whole mystery. Like, when you don't know
who put this here,
when the only point is to keep the audience on the hook and you don't know what your destination is, it's like, well, our destination is that we're going to jump to the future and so we can get out of this 23rd century and tell our own stories without being beholden.
Sure.
Because people are so mad at us about this. I was like, okay, well, that's fine. And I'm excited to see what you can sell. And it goes back to that, you know, what Hugh would call an abusive relationship I'm in. Like, no, it's going to be better next time. But,
yeah.
But I have faith, or I'm trying to hold on to faith that it could.
Oh God, can we talk about the leap of faith line?
Yeah, we just did. Yeah,
a very logical one.
Oh yes,
something.
Yeah. Well, also logical. It's only logical to take this leap of faith. It's like, well, okay, then yes.
It's like, does anyone even think about this shit?
Well, they thought about it too, because at one point Picard or somebody says, y'all have to join me on a leap of faith to do something. Fine. So it's also a reference to something that worked better.
To a show that they're rebooting or something, or whatever.
Right.
A captain they're bringing back.
Yeah. So. And yeah, even his get it done line was a reference to Captain Jellicoe from TNG episodes.
That's like fairly well known, right? I feel like even I know, like, get it done as like a Star Trek thing.
I guess, yeah.
When he said that, I was like, that's definitely a Star Trek reference.
Right. And hit it was what they decided on was going to be Pike's thing, though. And
yeah,
I'm actually okay. I should fully give credit to Ryan C. Britt again, because he's written his. Ryan C. Britt, friend of the pod here.
I know.
Who we've both spoken to.
Yeah,
I know.
Go read his Den of Geek. He has articles about, like, all the Easter eggs, and I'm cribbing a lot from that. So, you know, to give credit where it's due. But Captain Pike actually says "engage" in, like, the cage or something. But
okay.
But then they're like, well, we can't give him that line because everybody knows it's iconic from Picard. So let's give him something different.
Yeah.
So there's that. But
fine.
They gave him a new.
Star Trek's dumb.
Yeah. And if he had said hit it and it had kicked into the Beastie Boys,
kick it.
Yeah. People would have lost their shit because that's a J.J. Kelvin thing reference.
Yeah. It sure is.
But yeah, that's this episode.
Yeah.
It happens.
Yeah. We've covered everything in my notes.
Yeah, I think I've covered it too. I think
I don't have anything else.
The only thing I have left is that there were astromech droids.
Oh yes, the DOT-7s.
Oh, yeah.
Which were just like there to say, hey, look, robots.
Right.
And yeah, again, the fact that they got 200 vessels out of that, like, was like, it looked cool, but it was overkill, and I didn't buy. And like, there's people and all that's like, come on, just give me.
Well, and I don't know. I mean, like, and I feel like they didn't do enough of like, and I know like this is Star Trek-y, but it's also just anything-y, like showing some of these people blowing up. You know, like
yeah,
that's like big group battle action war movie. You have to show some of these people dying, and then when you find out the strategy, you have to show some of these people now winning, and then the bad people do something that turns it around again, and then the Klingons show up. Like that's
like you could have easily showed people dying, and it would have upped the stakes for that fight.
Yeah, and then when the Queen says that, like all you need is like immediately to just he relays the orders, and they go what? Okay, and then they do it, and then just show like three Section 31 ships blowing up, and then I'm like, okay, I get it, it worked. We never have to address it again until they go like, it's working, but there's too many of them. Boom, you're good. Like that's it.
Yeah, there's so many fucking explosions, and each one of those was presumed like maybe an eighth of those was like somebody must have died.
Yeah, but these are a lot of people died.
But there's no like, and they mention like more people are gonna die the longer this takes. But like,
it took a long time.
But just show us. But like, but none of those people's lives actually count for anything.
Yeah,
we're not gonna see, so it's like, come on, just like
that's even then. Like, yeah, for all this stuff they executed well in the explodey action bits. Like, it's still just like perplexingly incomplete. The thought,
right? Yeah, and if you want to tell a Star Trek story about about humanity and stuff, at least show like I don't know, just like if we know that each of these people mattered to an extent, but they don't, and that's a shame.
Well, because we don't need stakes. The stakes are that every sentient, like we know they're gonna win that fight. Like we know,
right?
The stakes are right here. Who's going to die? Like that's what we care about. And yeah, like watching just like Starfleet, just like schmoes in Starfleet are like, oh, I'm the cook,
right?
And they're like, throw him into a fucking ship and send him out there, and like, yeah, let's watch him fucking explode.
And did Nan die? We don't know. She just got knocked out by Leland, or she's dead.
That's right. That's interesting. We didn't see her again.
Nobody. She's gonna show up.
I guess she's fine. Yeah, she's fine.
Yeah. And we get a little bit reminder, remember she's a space Hitler because she's enjoying watching Leland suffer so much. Like the glee on her face when she turns the magnets on him.
Yeah, and that was a little
I like that because it shows that she's hey, remember she's a monster, but she's also killing a monster, so you're rooting for her. So it's a little bit
that made my reboot a little hard.
Yeah. But then also she's like, this is gonna hurt a lot. But will it? Because he's a fucking computer program without any sentience, right? Or is he?
Yeah, I don't think it would.
I don't know.
Right? He's like, oh man, I'm such an advanced computer that in this human body I feel pain.
Yeah, right.
Turn that off, man.
Right? Like, is he still?
Don't.
I thought he was just like a power supply and something crammed into a human sausage or whatever. Like,
right? Like, I like seeing Georgiou happy. Again, she's a monster and she's a space Hitler. To use Wade, just my favorite descriptor. But like, I don't know, man. Is it almost more like satisfying and scary? Like if she says that and she turns it on and he just like smiles as he like fucking like disintegrates. Like yeah, that'd be fucking badass. Why do we need to see her win? Like
right because she's the hero.
She's not. She's super not.
She's
on their side this time.
She shouldn't be, but she is. Yeah. We're rooting for a space Hitler, everybody. And you know what? I kind of am too because Michelle Yeoh's so great. Know. But at the same time,
I know
she's a space Hitler.
I know.
But yeah, that's
Star Trek. I'm excited for season 3, which is an insane thing to say.
Fuck this episode. I hate it so much. I'm so excited for season 3.
I can't wait. Why isn't it back tomorrow?
Right. Well, before that, we get the Picard show in like the end of 2019, probably in December.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. Right. Hopefully that can be good too. But yeah, we'll see how much Michael Chabon can turn out a good scripts with Akiva Goldsman and Alex Kurtzman also.
What's Picard's ship?
We don't know yet. We don't know anything about it.
Oh, okay.
They're very hush-hush.
They just announced some new cast members for it, but I don't think they had any details.
Nobody was anybody.
Yeah.
What was Picard's ship?
It was the Enterprise.
Oh, he was a captain of the Enterprise. Boy, boy, I know a lot about Star Trek.
Wow, Sean, just
Fucking nerd.
You know what?
Can
I'm kicking you off this podcast.
let me ask a worse question. What show was Picard on?
Star Trek: The Next Generation. Jesus Christ,
It was
Sean.
TNG. Okay,
Sean, you're canceled.
I should be.
You know what? Yeah, I'm not this. You're done. I'm not letting you on anymore this whole season of a Disco Home Companion.
Meanwhile, need I remind you, I am
fuck
watching
you.
the original
Yeah,
series.
uh-huh. Why don't you tell us about
That's
it?
not
I-
TNG. We're
Nope.
talking about TNG.
I'm talking about my commitment to the Star Trek.
Is
mission.
TNG good? Do people like TNG?
I feel like people like TNG.
People love TNG. It's good. It's also like the first 2 seasons are really bad.
Okay.
There's one where they go to a planet of like African people, and it's
No!
it's real
Oh, no.
problematic. Yeah, they were supposed to be lizard. In the script, they were originally supposed to be lizard people, but they didn't have any money, so they just make them like African. And it's like
Way worse.
It was. Oh, it's
way worse.
Does not hold up well. And then by season 7, there's some great episodes, but then there's also like the doctor fucks a ghost and stuff.
All right.
So
Okay.
there's some fun.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Wild.
Sold.
a Scottish ghost candle or something.
All right,
yeah.
I'll watch TNG before the card series.
Okay,
comes out. I'm not saying we're doing a podcast about the
Sure,
card show
I'm not-
that I'm
Absolute-
going to be on. I will watch TNG before
Yeah.
the Picard show comes.
All right. Yeah, we're making no commitments. You'll just have to
Wait and see.
keep subscribed to this
Hey,
feed and see what
Always
comes
leave
up.
them wanting more.
Yeah. And so I guess we're wrapping up here.
Yeah.
I am going to try and talk to some of our previous guests to see maybe some of them are more complimentary towards this than we ended up at the end of it. And I want to get all these voices heard. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
Ask them about the beard.
But yeah. Any final thoughts?
Star Trek sucks.
Star Trek sucks. I can't wait for the next season.
I'll tell you what. I like this new sci-fi franchise. Feels like a plucky underdog. This was a promising a season of television that showed some promise, and
Yeah.
maybe one day this can spawn a giant sci-fi television franchise. But until then,
It's the underdog.
yeah, along with shows like The 100 and Fringe, this standalone sci-fi television show was troubled at times, but overall a solid effort.
Well, and that's actually gets to a very important aspect of this. Like, if this was really
That
just...
Fringe is good
What?
is the important aspect. That Fringe is good.
Fringe is good.
Well, Fringe is fantastic.
I like
the
Fringe.
the
that
100.
is-
Well, one.
People
I've never
like that
saw-
show.
Oh, I've watched a lot of it. It gets stupid, but I mean,
Oh,
it's
does
For
it?
a
Okay.
second, I thought you were talking about what's the other one? The 4400.
I don't
No.
know what that is.
That's a
300?
show.
Is
That's a show that was created or show run or produced by a Star Trek TNG writer, Renee Echevarria, I believe.
oh, how about that? I watched. I feel like I watched at least a season of that, and I remember that being like pretty good. But
I didn't.
and, this is also like 10+ years ago.
Right.
So who
Mahershala
fucking knows?
Ali is in it. That's all.
Oh,
I know.
Wait,
Cool.
really?
Yeah, I think so.
Wow. Maybe I'll go back and watch. Like they.
Okay,
all right.
but that's a whole other podcast that I will not be doing.
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
No. All right. So, yeah. You got anything final to say about that dumb Greek restaurant, Sean? Before you leave it forever?
I found out they have 2 locations in Texas, but I don't know
Well,
where.
where in Texas?
I don't know. Hold on,
Oh.
Glenn, you do your plugs. I'll find out.
Okay, so I guess just follow the D&D comedy show that Wade and I run in New York. It's called QED&D. Our social media is QED and D, which we can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
Yeah, and follow all the other Kickers of Elves podcasts at kickersofelves.com or give us a call at 917-408-3898. If you get them in fast enough, you might be featured in a final thoughts on Discovery kind of thing that I can wrap together. And also join the Patreon for a bunch of other content and whatnot at patreon.com/kickersofelves.
I just want to make it clear to anyone like on the fence about donating to the Patreon, that money does not go to Sean or I, so don't feel bad. Don't feel like you're supporting us. You can know that you're supporting Wade, James, and Hugh, the guys that actually do the work, and not these two schmoes.
I'm great.
Yeah, I won't say anything more because I don't. Yeah. All right.
Carrollton.
Look,
Carrollton.
somebody give us a line to go out on so I can just end this already.
Yum.
Oh, fuck you. I'm not. No.
See you next season.
Okay, this has been a podcast.
No, I got one. Okay, wait, I actually have one. Section 30 fun.
Subscribe to us on iTunes or Stitcher or Caster or Fuckcast or Podsucker. Review us on iTunes. Also, grab a bit of
would you rather...
Plano?
Oh, Plano, Texas. That's pretty close to where I grew up.
Really? Is your family still there?
All right, we don't have time for this. Where's the other place?
They are close enough where it would be a day trip.
It's not worth a day trip.
It's not worth. Okay, where's the other one at? Plano and where? And
I don't know. I can't find it.
Okay.
Plano's good.
Okay.
Well, maybe the other one's closer.
I don't care where.
Wait, hold on. One more. Hold on. I found it. Addison, Coppell, Frisco, Sweet Austin, McKinney. There's a lot in Texas.
Wow.
Plano,
yeah,
Dallas, Richardson, Coralton. Wait, did you guys... Wait, Glenn, I love that. I don't mean to step on it. Did you guys watch with commercials?
Yes.
No, I had the no commercials planned
rich
for the last
man.
month.
Did you see the IHOP commercial?
No.
What was it?
Oh my god, there's this great IHOP commercial where like it's a submarine and they're like, "Captain, look," and he looks in the thing and he sees IHOP and he's like, "Pancakes, that's not breakfast, that's a breakfast." And they're like, "What do you want to do, Captain?" And he goes, "Head right for it. Captain's got a yum in his tum."
What the fuck? I guess they have regional placements on those because I didn't see that one.
I think you're right. Captain's got a yum in his tum.
All right, that's
what we're closing out on.
No, I mean that's gonna go behind the. I'm cutting
the
that
paywall.
No, that's gonna end, and we're gonna have a little.
Oh yeah, good.
It's the hidden track.
Ending. Yeah, good.
Review us on iTunes.
Oof. All right, I'm cutting. I'm pinching this one off.
I'm so sorry. I don't just like saying yum yum made me think of that commercial. Nikki watched the episode with me. Do you want Nikki's thoughts on the episode?
Sure.
You don't. You do not. No, but we can if you wanted another, you can have. But yeah. But she did not care for it.